But thank God say, Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you ladder. Oh, yo, yo, Maiyegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout. Oh, yo, yo.
Maiyegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. We will give ourselves an update, add our own opinion, and let everybody make do with what they can with the information that we're going to share today. The issue of Oduduwa Republic is taking shape. I want to tell you that that is taking big shape, and indeed, it will continue to be as long as we keep the momentum, as long as we keep the awareness going. It doesn't matter if people disagree. Yes, they have the right to disagree, because you can disagree with something you don't really understand or you don't fully understand. Our own responsibility as we progress into this is to discover more and more people that will eventually understand why they should be demanding for something better. The highest of it is to break away from Nigeria. There are more to be demanded before that eventually happens. It starts from talking to ourselves, and that's what we are doing. So we will continue. It's gaining momentum seriously in Yoruba land now, even outside Yoruba land, which is a good thing. If the politicians think that it is no more, it is not tenable anymore for them to keep pushing for restructuring, except for their own political, profit, except when it is more politically profitable, they will promote restructuring. And whenever it is, not needed anymore, they discard it away without caring about the consequences of that. So the Yoruba people have decided to stage a 1 million man march across Yoruba land and across the world, a solidarity march to show that indeed Yorubas are demanding for the change to the status quo of whatever they have in Nigeria, called United Nigeria. I also read it in the news today that the new chief of army staff, Tahir or whatever, the other guy that is now there that replaced Buratai the butcher, right, gave a warning, and he said, "We are coming for you." And sincerely, we know they are going to come for us. We know they are going to come for the Yorubas, because the elite in Yoruba land, starting from Tifnumbu himself, they are now under serious watch from those who promised them a power that they will never get. So we know they are coming. And when this guy said they were coming, they are coming. We are coming for you. That's what he said. That means the Nigerian army will soon invade Yoruba land, different towns and communities in Yoruba land, mass arrest, assault, and even killings of Yoruba, young and old, by the Nigerian army in the name of looking for those who are asking for Oduduwa Republic. So it is better we all know, so that when we get to that stage, you will not be asking yourselves again, how did we get here? So they are opening the door for them to do that. Last night, the news came that the Nigerian army in Abia, they were looking for the ESN members, and then they killed 11 civilians, which they reported as ESN members. The Eastern Security Network members, the guys who are mostly in the forest. You won't find them in the city. You won't find them in any of those towns and all of that. They are mainly in the forest. But Nigerian army killed innocent people in the dark, took their pictures and released their pictures to the public that they killed 11 ESN members. We will be witnessing that in Yoruba land, with the moves being taken now by the governors as well as other political players in Yoruba land. It is a collective one. Traditional rulers, and many of them, are also keen into ensuring that this doesn't escalate beyond what it is now, but it is going to escalate more than this. In their efforts to try to curb and tame people from expressing themselves and demanding for the change in the status quo, which is a legit demand, right? In their effort to curb that and tame and crush that, they're going to make a lot of mistakes. They're going to turn against their people. The entire cookie will crumble. And that is where the reality will set in. So thank you very much once again for joining me. I'll be taking this bit by bit as time permits, and I will be responding and reacting to some of your own comments and contributions as well. and I will share a few other content with you to back up some of my presentations on this broadcast today. Okay, so you can relax. Again, just before we settle in, by the way, you can quickly do this. Click on that subscribe button, click on that thumb up button, or even thumb down button. Engage with this video to show that I am not being watched by robots. Let's do that. If you haven't really subscribed on Maiyegun's diary before now, let's do it in a minute. Just about 10 seconds it will take. Thank you. So it came to us this afternoon as well that I said Maiyegun, Tifnumbu gave 50 million naira donation to the traders, traders who are victims of a fire, the market fire in Katsina State. Katsina is where Bokwari comes from. Meanwhile, yesterday, the office of Bokwari in Abuja, they released a statement that they are going to be attending, is it the 12th, Tinubu's colloquium gathering for his birthday, you remember? So I'm going to tell you a few stories around that tonight. It's good I share that with you so that some of you will understand that when we kind of tell you, when we kind of tell you what will be the end result, end result of this whole madness and then the consequences, which I have been saying for a long time, that when they conspire, collude, and do all these shady arrangements, shady deals in the name of one Nigeria, without considering the consequences of those arrangements, that led us to where we are today, the journey that started in 2014. I'll come back to that. However, yesterday, the presidency, yes, they released a statement and they said, oh, Bokwari is going to virtually appear or attend Tinubu's colloquium birthday celebration, just to show that they are still friends, they are still paddy, they are still this and that, and whatever arrangement they have, which is making the Southwest Pomo boys, the Lagos Abobakus, the Oshogbo Alimajiris, jumping up and down and ready to go up in arms with anyone calling for Oduduwa Republic instead of calling for Tinubu's presidency in 2023. The reason why they are all looking at that is, well, they needed something, a validation, and they are getting that validation. They got one yesterday from Abuja. Bokwari is going to attend. It won't be the first time they will do that on them, but unfortunately, it won't also be the last time. So today, Tifnumbu announced that he's giving 50 million naira to the traders who are the victims of fire hazard in their market in Katsina. Okay. Meanwhile, the same Tifnumbu, who is from that same Lagos state, was alive when the people of Abule Ado, you remember last year when they are still here to tell us what happened in Abule Ado, that bomb blast in Abule Ado. Remember that killed some people and then destroyed so many properties, shattered so many buildings beyond anything that people have to relocate and abandon the entire site. The government of Lagos State, I don't know what they are doing for them right now. Tifnumbu didn't come out to say, oh, I'm going to support the victims who are actually going to suffer homelessness for this unexpected incident. No, he didn't even make any statement about it. The same Tifnumbu, if some of you have forgotten, I can remind you, okay? It was the same Tifnumbu who was the visiting chancellor to Lautech when Lautech was locked down for over a year because of industrial dispute between the government and the staff. Remember, Lautech was owned by Osun State and Oyo State government. So they were fighting. Who is not paying? Who is going to pay? Who is supposed to pay the salary? Meanwhile, that school, which happens to be Ladoke Akintola University of Technology in Ogbomoso. So that same school, which should be a legacy technological school, University of Technology in Yoruba land. Tifnumbu, a supposed Yoruba political leader, was the visiting chancellor to that place. For 1 year, APC was controlling Osun State. APC was controlling Oyo State, and they locked the school for over a year. No move was made. Destinies were shattered. Future were destroyed. And you will never know because nobody will ever ask. Right? Now, the same Tifnumbu, who also witnessed the Shasha incident where Yorubas who lost their lives and lost their properties, yeah, who are now, well, Sheyi Makinde said he's doing something for them, he's reopened the market. The same Tifnumbu, right, was never anywhere to be found when this happened. But from far away, Katsina, in order to prove one Nigeria, because it's what they do, right? To prove one Nigeria, they have to give something. Remember when Wike too traveled to Sokoto to go and give 50 million or so to the victims of fire incidents as well in Sokoto? Remember that? While the people of Eleme are suffering from the hands of the Fulani bandits who are destroying their little farmland, who are raping their women in Rivers State, Port Harcourt. Do you get that now? So they do that to build this one Nigeria of a thing, because the only way for them to keep is 500 million. God bless you, Jade Dolo Fox. So they will take their money, they will take the little remnant they share for them from the resources they take from them, the little peanut they share to them from Abuja, they still take that to buy validation from the north. And when you see a southern politician talking about United Nigeria, look very closely, okay? You will see why he's asking for that one Nigeria, because that is what pays his bill. That's what gives him the validation of the status he's enjoying. And if you should tell him to stay otherwise, he will lose that privilege. And it is something that none of them want to lose, because those you see there today, the criminals you see around today in southern Nigeria, ruling over the people there, right? Governors and the rest of them. The only thing that gives them that privilege is because they continue to hold back. And if they should, by any means, begin to side with their people that they deserve better, they will lose that peanut they are giving to them. And the only way to also keep that is they can keep going to the northern Nigeria to go and buy validation. But let me tell you the history of buying validation and the consequences of buying validation, which has now led us to this, to this precipice of total breakup. In 2014, what they told us was Goodluck Jonathan was using the Boko Haram to reduce the population of the north, to destroy the north, to kill the northern people. This narrative is what the likes of Sheikh Gumi, Malam Gumi, Kaduna Osama bin Laden, the National Commissioner for Banditry and Ransom Payments, Sheikh Gumi. The journey started in 2014. They said, oh, they were using Boko Haram to decimate the north. Oh, they were using Boko Haram to kill the northerners. Therefore, we need a northerner, a very strong one, to become the president and protect the north. And the southern criminals from Tifnumbu, they said, oh, if nothing is done, Nigeria is going to break up. Do you get that now? Oh, Nigeria is going to break up. If Jonathan should continue, Nigeria will break up, because Jonathan could not protect Nigerians, because terrorists from outside Nigeria are now occupying territorial lands in Nigeria, and Goodluck Jonathan couldn't. Therefore, Nigeria is going to break up. Hey, Nigeria is going to break up. Oh, yes, Nigeria is going to break up. They were shouting, break up, break up, break up, break up, until they brought in a lifeless, breathing, demented Maiyegun, Bokwari, to come and be that strong force. And in order to make it real, Tifnumbu, the master strategist, the man that played the long game, the one that is leading, the one-eye man that is leading the blind Buhari Diderins in other part of Nigeria, the master strategist, they brought in a lifeless, a jobless, unproductive Brady Maiyegun to come and revive an economy destroyed by them, to come and stop criminality sponsored by them, and at the same time to come and protect the people that they are profiting from by them. So they brought him in. but they also had their own calculation too. It wasn't about protecting Nigerians. It wasn't about protecting Nigeria. It wasn't about keeping Nigeria one. It was about keeping their estate, their feeding bottle one, and in fact, having the upper hand. But he miscalculated. You all know the story. Tifnumbu and gang sold the bobo to the Yorubas that if Yorubas are to be relevant in Nigeria, Yorubas have to play a central game. They call it the game at the center. They are selling that same bobo to the Igbos now. Igbo politicians who have been around milking, benefiting from the rotten Nigeria, continue to play like, oh, they were not part of it. Meanwhile, they are, yeah. They are selling that same bobo to the Igbos now. You need to play the center politics. You need to play at the center, or else you will never ever attain the greatness. What greatness? Yoruba served, I mean, Yoruba man was Nigeria president for 8 years. Today, half or more than half of Yorubas will leave Nigeria if they are given that option today. That can you choose between Nigeria and choose Oduduwa Republic? It will shock you. So 8 years of a Yoruba man being president of Nigeria did not bring any progress to Yoruba land. It did not improve our education. It did not improve our healthcare system. It did not improve our infrastructure. We are not enjoying any 24 hours electricity like anyone. As you all are complaining about insecurity, Yoruba land is not safe. Meanwhile, we had a president for 8 years. But we were safer before these criminals came in. We were managing, not physical attack like we have now, having to deal with today, okay, before these criminals came in. But in 2014, they sold the bobo of the center to the Yorubas. Tinubu wanted to be the vice president. Tinubu was looking to become the president someday and probably become the second messiah after Bokuwari. The plan then was, well, who knows? With what they know about Bokuwari, he was going to die anyway. Abi? So if he die, right, eventually he is going to take over. And probably he can then perform the miracle, the magic that MKO Abiola couldn't perform. So they sold the bobo to Yorubas. We need that center. We have been relegated and blah, 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 blah. 6 years after that, our people have turned to refugees in another country. Today, that same Tifnumbu is now so despised. You may not know this. Tinubu is still a local champion. Okay? Nobody can take that away from him and his own army of, yes men. He is still a local champion that these guys don't trust. You may not completely, probably agree with me. I understand. It depends on where you are and it depends on the information you have at hand. But I have a few to share with you just to help your own curiosity. Why did I say Tifnumbu remain a local champion? He is a local champion that some of these guys believe that, oh, he thought he's smarter. But they are smarter than him. In 2014, there was no Isafuntua. There was no Maman Daura. There was no Abakiyari. There was no Malami. There was no all these funny names that are now powerful that Tifnumbu had to beg to please let Bokuwari give him some validation so that his own followers in Yoruba land can still see that he still has connection with Tifnumbu, with Bokuwari. These guys were nowhere. Nobody saw them. It was Bokuwari and Tifnumbu and those who were also thinking they could benefit, the likes of Atifku, the likes of Sarakai, the Sarakonda, as some of the APC, Egbekegbe members would love to call him Sarakonda. They call him it's Anaconda, because Saraki and all of them became thorn in the flesh of APC, jihadist agenda, the first 4 years. As bad as that is, devil's advocates. Their plan was that they were going to hijack power. And once they hijack power, they were going to do whatever they would do with it. But they were strange bedfellows. Tifnumbu was aiming for the center. The Fulani oligarch who have been sponsoring terrorism in northern Nigeria for years, they were interested in power returning to the north. Tifnumbu was not really bothered. He was ready to partner with them. And that's what happened. He said, well, let's partner. Since this whole thing is stamped, okay, let the power return to the north. You can do 8 years if you want, but it will return back to the South and it comes back to me. As much as they continue to tell you that, no, that's not what happened. No, it didn't happen. But that's what happened. It became a bitter battle that finally tore them, turned them into complete shred today, that they are trying to still glue together and pretend that they are one, right? Tinubu wanted to be vice president. Saraki and co were like, no, you can never be vice president. They worked against it. They all put their resources together to push that Tinubu never becomes the vice president. That was how Ikene Shatabandu, fake Pastor Ruga Oshubade, became the running mate to Pokuari. Meanwhile, all the cabal that you now hear of today, they were all hiding and watching Tinubu perform his magic, use his media to continue to what? To continue to sway the people onto the side of a dictator, a disgraced dictator, an uneducated dictator, a jihadist, divisive personality. They were watching him continue to pile up and package Bokuari, package, continue to give different promises and not promises. Yorubas were at the forefront because they were going to get vice presidency. They were going to be so close to becoming president again. Tinubu was going to win. Tinubu was going to be the master strategist. He is the genius of all time. He is the Albert Einstein of where's that place again? Iragbiji. So they bought it. They were ready to rig it. They were ready to manipulate anything as long as they were closer to becoming the vice presidency. Well, they got the vice presidency, right? But they didn't get anything so close to any power, not even any influence. When the opportunity presented itself, it burned Oshunbade. You know the story. Tinubu was relegated. He ran away from Nigeria. He was brought back as a reconciliator to come and reconcile a divided, a disrupted, a destroyed APC who has destroyed Nigeria. He came back, he got a new validation, and Bokuari said, I am going to attend your birthday colloquium. Remember that. I am going to attend your birthday. So Bokuari attended his birthday, and immediately the Mugus, the Buharidins, the Buharidios, the humbled slaves, the obedient fools, the sophisticated morons, they went to market, they went to the public, they were so happy. Yeah, all of you were saying that Tinubu is not this and that. We said, okay, watch. To cut the long story short, you know now that Maiyegun and even all this northern bloc, what they are now saying is, we cannot trust these people. Do you know that the reason why they can't trust Tinubu is that they have entrenched themselves so well. The Fulani, the Fulani entrenchment in the system of Nigeria is almost complete. They have found out that they cannot leave the power to they don't trust the Southeast as well. You know them. They don't trust the Bokuari's government from the onset is not in any way, going to trust anybody from the Eastern Nigeria. You have seen their body language. You have seen what they have done to them over the years. You see what they are still doing to them today. Apart from the political exigencies, political profiteering, they will never, ever, in any way, feel comfortable in handing over, not what Nigeria has become today. And you know what I'm talking about. You may not agree with me, and I will understand that the reason why you don't. But here it is. They are saying we cannot trust Tinubu. According to them, they said Tinubu is desperate and is corrupt. I'm not making this up. You can go out there and check it out. Maiyegun came out and they said they believe that all of these gang up, they call it, all these gang up, all these reactions against Fulanis, the Fulani terrorists in Yoruba forest. That the reason why Yorubas are doing all of this is because Tinubu is desperate for 2023. That Tinubu is the one sponsoring people to say Fulani must leave. Do you understand that how deep the mistrust is, by the way? So that when the whole thing play out later, don't pretend that you don't know it's going to end up like that. Don't pretend that if Nigeria ended up in a civil war, it is not just because they have denied the people the opportunity to express themselves or listen to them so that they can actually address their grievances. They are also doing everything to suppress their own personal friendship agreement. Oh, if I do my own, you will do your own. That alone, you know, when they are doing their elections, it's like war. So if you have an agreement between yourselves in their political nonsense they do, and somebody want to shortchange you, the next thing is they will call the likes of MC Olueron. They will give them weapons. They will come after you. And all, you know what that means? That, oh, if you don't do what we want, if you don't give us what we agree to, or if you don't give us what we want, politically, it is normally war. They did it in Ekiti a few days ago. A common, a common by-election to fill in one vacant seat, House of Assembly seat, that is election conducted in just one local government area. They killed 3 people. Do you get that now? So normally, within themselves, they don't trust themselves because of what they have done to themselves. They rubbish Tinubu, but you know what? They believe that they are playing a long game, that they will have their own pound of flesh one day. Just like Bokwari waited for so long to become the tormentor in chief, the terrorist in chief of Nigeria today. He waited for 30 years. Somebody that was dead, though, embalmed, though. But because of the greedy people, you see, there's a saying, they say, na greed, they make a person go open up a dead secret. It's like you opening up a dead corpse because you are because your greed is looking for something, curiosity and all of that. But in this case, now greed, selfishness, self-centeredness, without considering the lives of millions of people that will be affected. Greed. They said, go and bring a jihadist, a dead jihadist, a almost dead jihadist. Go and bring him back. 30 years after they kicked Bokwari out of power. Meanwhile, the same Bokwari that was meant to have been spending his life in jail. You see, if you plan anything, let me break it down in case if it looks like I'm digressing a lot. It was greed of the Atiku, Sarakizo, new PDP they call themselves. Who else again? Tifnumbu, who else? And so many other Yoruba Obas who continue to sell the lies of one Nigeria to their people, and they are getting their own dollar in return. It was greed, yo. They were alive. They know who Bokwari was. They knew who he was. But because they thought they could get power, they thought he was going to die. Well, maybe in the long run, they miscalculated. Because some people believe that they thought Bokwari would die maybe a year or 2, so that Tifnumbu will become president. And the Sarakis were like, if Tifnumbu become president, Lagos, what they do to Lagos will be like a child's play to what they will do to Nigeria. And some of you will even be like, oh boy. So Saraki and co, they decided to intervene. Meanwhile, Saraki himself wanted to be president, but he wanted to wait for, Bokwari was meant to be the bait, that kind of bait you put in a hook when you want to catch a fish. So they wanted to use Bokwari as a sacrifice. They didn't know that they will all end up as the sacrificial goats. You know the story today. Anyway, okay, it was greed, though. They decided to go and exhume a dead tyrant. Do you get that now? In a democracy, somebody that overthrew democratically elected government in 1984. In 1985. They went back to him 30 years later. None of them saw themselves as qualified Democrats because they are all criminals. They needed a murder, mina, jihadist criminal to lead them so that they can use him to intimidate anybody who believes that they are untouchable in power. Then they can use their own personality and money to buy the people they have already made poor. It was greed, though. Saraki wanted, they was like, okay, maybe Bokwari just vamoose. So he himself will position himself to become president. But Tinubu wanted to position himself to become president. He gave himself position of national leader. So immediately they came to power. They told him, Baba, go, shut up. There's no position like a national leader in APC. There's no position in APC constitution that is called national leader. There's nothing like that. That was the first time they said, hey, before then, as they were plotting that, okay, this is how we are going to form the government. You, Ikene Shatabandu, fake Pastor Ruga, you will be the vice president. You will control economy, all the contract, all the goodies. You know what to do. Yeah? Okay, good. You, Baja, you will become speaker. As a speaker, there are some bills you are going to help us pass to promote some, you know what I mean? And then, all this budget padding, you have to be very smart because, yeah, okay, yes, sir. You will become, they were plotting. You will become minister. You are going to be minister of, they were plotting everything. Sadly, now all of them, they get their own list of who to become who. Atiku get his own list because he came with his own team. Saraki get his own list. He came with his own team. He even went there with his own canary, Dinomelaye. So they agreed, bring them together. That's the story. It was their greed, not the love of the country, not the love of the people. It was their greed. They said, let us go and bring this guy back. After so many things they said about him. Now, when they brought him, they didn't know that when they were exhuming the dead tyrant, when they were bringing Bokwari, they were also bringing the dead Abacha. The last time Bokwari enjoyed government money so good, so well was during Abacha time. It was the time Aisha became a damsel. Aisha started living the life of her life in London, raised her children and all of that. From a malam, Bokwari that had 150 cows in 1985, 150 cows in 1995, 150 cows in 2005, 150 cows in 2015. There are maybe 10,000 cows now in 2020. Business, they boom. So when they drag Bokwari out of retirement or out of, what do you call it? They didn't know that they were dragging all the Abacha henchmen. That was where the Kaaba came into play. That was how, meanwhile, Saraki said they're doing their own thing. So when Bokwari came in, Oshibade was supposed to be running the government. Tifnumbu was supposed to be the puppeteer who is going to be holding the hand of the puppet. So Pastor Ruga is meant to be the puppet. Tifnumbu is meant to be the puppeteer. So when they were campaigning, they said Bokwari will be fighting the Boko Haram physically. Pastor Ruga will be fighting Boko Haram spiritually. Bokwari will be fighting to defend Nigeria. Pastor Ruga will be fighting to defend the economy of Nigeria. Do you get that now? That was how they shared the job. But that was not how it all went down. You know what happened? Immediately they gained power. They wanted to do a meeting. They had a meeting. A meeting of, they call it a meeting of national caucus, blah, blah, blah meeting. The new president, all the elected National Assembly members, they were to meet at the Yaradua Center in Abuja in 2015. So at that meeting, the president is going to talk to her. It's like the victory mood. I told you, they were strange bedfellows. They were not friends. They didn't come together because of Nigeria. They didn't come together because of Nigerian people. They came together to take power and see what they can do with it. But what they didn't know was that there will be consequences of that action. And me, Maiyegun, I am becoming more important to you today because my job is to let you know that I saw that there will be consequences. And that consequences is catching up with us today. Decisions of yesterday that you are asking yourself today that, how did we get here? How did Nigeria become a country where everybody wants to break up like this? Why did everybody blah, blah, you know what I mean? A decision of 2014, 2015 brought everybody to this state. And it's going to get worse because the same people who brought you to this stage, they didn't believe they have done anything wrong. They didn't even know that something was wrong or anything is wrong. They are still doing it more. And I am here again to tell you that I will be here to remind you when that consequences also happens. Let's continue. They didn't know. They were strange bedfellows, right? They drag everybody from the east, from the west, from the south, from the north, they drag them together to bring about a dead tyrant. But nobody knew that they were bringing in Issa Funtua, Maman Daura, Abba Kyari, who later became your de facto president, the person that was ruling the country. And since Abba Kyari died, since the death of Abba Kyari, have you not noticed the slide, the change in how the country has been going since then? I was reading it earlier today that they said Bokwari's driver gave him a document to sign, a multi-million naira contract. Bokwari doesn't read. He can't read. Amechi told us that he doesn't read. Do you get that now? But they brought him in, and the people who are piloting things, they did a lot. They started with the military, right? Then they move on to all the other security, security apparatuses in the country. They broke them into what they are today, the Fulani lined security agencies who can no longer detect crime before they happen. Now, the security agencies are coming to us to tell us that invaders from Chad, from Niger, from Mali, from Libya are those who are killing and kidnapping Nigerians in Nigeria. And we ask them, what happened to your job? How come many of you still have your job? The reason why they will not detect a crime that will save anyone is because the perpetrators of those crimes are Fulani jihadists, Fulani terrorists. They have been established. We have seen videos, we have seen meetings, we have seen advocacies of different people, personalities, asking us to give amnesty to these Fulani terrorists. They are championing their causes and telling us that they are victims too. So do not tell me that I should not call them Fulani terrorists, because that's who they are. And the reason why the government of Nigeria cannot stop them is because the people that are supposed to stop them, they are the people who are also Fulanis. The controllers, the commanders, the people who give the order and all of that, they are Fulanis. So when they give the order, and the order doesn't say they should curb the influx of armed terrorists into Yoruba, into Nigeria, then what does that tell you? It tells you that, your government is a government of terrorists, and that's not it. So they are bringing back something again. When the government of Nigeria denies something, my friends, just know that it is true, okay? I was reading it today, where the presidency, uncannily, very, very usual, funny, I would say, they came out today to say, if anyone is thinking that we have problem with Tifnumbu, no, we don't have any problem with Tifnumbu. It is just your own imagination. That Tifnumbu is no longer coming to the villa all the time. You should all know that that's not because we have any problem with him. Who cares if you have any problem with him or not? It's so obvious that he's already in soup. We're just waiting for the time you're going to serve him and feed on him. And then I can come back and tell you that, what's going to be your reaction? Are you angry? Would you be angry when they come back to tear him down? All right? So they came out, they said, oh, we don't have any problem with him. It is just, your imagine. In fact, the president of the country is going to attend his birthday. Really? That's amazing. Attend his birthday. Zoom birthday. Well, that's fine. So Tifnumbu continue to buy validation. Okay? And after this whole madness, you ask yourself, they destroy, yeah, they did. They destroyed the judicial system in Nigeria by filling the courts with the same Janjaweed Fulani inclined judges that will read the law and they will turn it upside down. Judges that will turn civil cases into treasonable offenses. And the same judges are sitting in the court, and you're not asking yourself, how does that even make sense? How does that even happen? How can that happen? They've now given them what is called the workbook, a workbook that will never give you justice. When the military shot and kill people on the street, no court can summon them. Do you get that? When the police shot and kill citizens on the street, no court is going to summon them. Rather, the same court will convict the victims and send them to perpetual incarceration. People are being detained by courts in Nigeria for criticizing Buhari on social media. What does that tell you? So they managed to do all of that. And when you deny justice everywhere, you deny protection, you deny security, then you deny justice. People are seeing you with your everyday brazen corruption. They can't talk about it or they will go to jail. What does that mean? It means that your judicial system has been destroyed. You are supposed to be able to walk to court and say, well, I did it. What does the law say? The law should be able to say what your punishment should be if you abuse the president. Should you even have any law that punishes you for abusing the president or abusing any politician? But in Nigeria, there is no law, by the way, but there are judges that are ready to send you to jail 1 year, 2 years on trial. What does that tell you? It tells you that in 6 years, they have further destroyed whatever is left of that country. Okay? Now, let's come back to the issue of trust. As much as Tifnumbu and co continue to pander to they continue their pandering to the whim and caprices of their northern master for whatever they are promised, whatever they will give them. But for 6 years in Yoruba land, they say Saturday to Bamada, Saturday to Bamada, Friday Latimamo. That is a Saturday that is going to be a very, very good one. You will start seeing the sign from from Friday night. Like you begin to feel it like, oh man, tomorrow is going to be amazing. You get what I mean? So if the people they sat together with, for whatever, even in their own greed and selfishness, the people they sat together with, that they were going to make Yoruba land safe. They are going to make Yoruba land prosperous. They're going to make Yoruba people safe. They're going to make Yoruba land great. 6 years ago, if they needed a lot of time to make things happen by their own standard or their own explanation, for 6 years, can they tell us that they have decided that all the agreement, all the whatever they said they agreed on, that brought about Buhari to become the killer-in-chief of that country today? Can the likes of Tifnumbu tell themselves the truth that 2 years, the remaining 2 years, is not enough for them to say, oh, maybe they will still convince us? It is still pretty much about their greed. Greed is blinding them. But let us remind them, there are consequences. People are dying. People are turning to refugees. People are losing their homes. People are losing their lives. People are losing their families. People are losing their mentality. Their sanity too. What about mental health? What about people who have become victims of all of these killings? Tifnumbu has no ball to speak about it. And then ask yourself, courts destroyed, security system destroyed, the economy ruined, corruption is at the worst level ever seen, people are not safe. Then you ask yourself, which country is Tinubu coming to lead, by the way? Is Tinubu coming to put the round peg in the round hole? Because by doing so, he is likely going to sack 90% of those who have been put in different positions simply because they are Fulanis, or simply because they are from the north, or simply because they are loyal to Bokwari. Is Tifnumbu coming there to come and change them? And what makes Tifnumbu different, by the way, from Bokwari and what APC is doing to all of you today? Are you safe in Lagos? Are you actually safe in Lagos? Use the context of your own Lagos. Are you actually prosperous in Lagos? Are you developing in Lagos? Do you have accountability of your own tax money in Lagos? Use your own Lagos as a context. I mean, use it as a parameter, because that's what they always do. They will tell you Lagos is better. So what is he going to do? Their thugs will stop representing people. 90% of those who are your representatives from Lagos State in different political offices, they are either the long-trained political thug of Tifnumbu, thugs who can read and write, thugs who can speak grammar, criminals, crooks, who can disguise their real identity, because over time, you can see it. The legacy of Lagos State is what? Agberu legacy. People collecting money, people taxing people for the work they have not done, people claiming entitlement from something they didn't deserve, but they believe that they do. Is that not what the mentality is in Lagos? Taking from you, stealing from you, and then possibly beating you up for asking them why are they taking from you. Is that not what they do in Lagos? Where is the round peg and round hole? The Speaker of Lagos State, the Agberu Speaker, is a thief. So, what is it going to be? If Bokwari is a tribal bigot, or an ethnic jingoist, an Islamic fundamentalist, what makes Tifnumbu different? And who are the disciples of Tifnumbu? Do you want to leave Lagos and go to other parts of Yoruba land? These are the people that are supposed to be those inspired by Tifnumbu leadership. So can you give me those leadership in Yoruba land? Today, Katsina State, where Bokwari comes from, the people from Katsina State, they are suffering from the hands of, they are suffering in the hands of the bandits. Bandits kidnapping them, kidnapping their children, raping their women, destroying their farms, sending them into refugee camps, and even sending them outside the country as refugees. Some of them are now refugees in Cameroon, refugees in Mali, refugees in Chad, refugees in the Niger Republic. That's where Bokwari comes from. That's the leadership. A leadership where their governors are ransom payers, those who rather celebrate mass wedding for jobless citizens, untrained, uneducated citizens, no economic power, no nothing. But they will celebrate mass wedding, celebrate empowering women, widow, empowering them with a goat, because their own mentality says the goat will what? The goat will produce more children, and they can sell the children to feed themselves. The mentality. Is that not the same mentality that Pastor Ruga took to Abuja? Mentality of what is different between Buhari and Tifnumbu? What? That Tifnumbu can speak grammar, slow grammar, and Bokwari cannot speak one. But what is the difference between Tifnumbu and Bokwari? Their leadership style. Who are they influencing? Pastor Ruga Ikene Shatabandu, a professor of law, former Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice in Lagos State, somebody who was supposed to be a law professor, an elite, educated person. He went to Abuja, Vice President of Nigeria, and they were looking into how to take 20 million people out of poverty, 100 million people out of poverty. And the best created idea from this professor of law, who came from Yoruba land, who came from the school of Tifnumbu, is to start giving 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira to traders to start businesses so that they can lift people out of poverty. Professor of law from Lagos State, professor of law from Ikene Shatabandu. So what is the difference between Bokwari and Tifnumbu? For those of you that they have brainwashed enough to think there's actually any difference. What difference? That you can give 30,000 naira, empower money to educated young people, in a country where your exchange rate, $1 to 1 naira, is 480 naira to $1. And therefore, your 30,000 naira is even less than $70. Now, you are giving $70, $80 to graduate every month to become creative. Your minimum wage, your national minimum wage is 30,000 naira before tax. After tax, you collect 23,000 naira if they ever pay you. What is 23,000 naira in that same place, but they want to lift 100 million people out of poverty? And the most creative idea to lift 100 million people out of poverty was to give them trader money, to give them market money, to give them empower, to give them this, and to give them more free money, because there is no idea to create wealth. So what are you talking about? All of this brings about more poverty. More poverty brings more crime brings more calamity, anarchy, lawlessness, breakdown of law and order. And that is exactly what Nigeria is witnessing. So what makes you think Tifnubu is different? So what makes you think the next 2 years is anything that's going to change anything that would then give you Tifnubu as your president, as Yoruba president? And what would that change is the question. Is Tifnubu coming to change all these incompetent criminals, from the security agents to the judiciary and then to all these ministries? Is that what he's coming to change? Can they at least try to change that from Lagos State first? Change that in Yoruba land first. So if they are telling you that Tifnubu is better than Buhari, how? That you have an economy that is being ruled and controlled by the people with guns. In Nigeria, those with guns are those the government are listening to. In Yoruba land, it is those with guns that the politicians listen to. When you go to Lagos State, they have their own army. They call it legal army, by the way, legal army. The local agberos, the local thugs who have weapons, they can shut down, they have been doing it, they can shut down the entire state or shut down a part of the state for hours or even for days, simply because they're having clashes. Everybody will have to wait. Government have to wait. Police have to wait. The military have to wait until they are ready to talk. Then the politician would then, the politician would then come in and say, okay, we have managed to give peace. We have brokered peace. The local terrorist in Lagos State is the result of the leadership of Tifnubu. How do you think that looks outside? When Agbero, who doesn't do any job, no nothing, but they have to collect money from the drivers, collect money from shop owners, collect money even from the carriers. Alabaru, people who are doing carrying people's load inside markets, Agberos will collect money from them. And that is the life of Lagos State. No matter how much you pretend to say you come from a mega city, let's tell ourselves the truth. You came from the mega slum. Lagos State is a mega slum. Your pride is that you have tax collectors who are not legally back to collect your taxes. But in your mind of the likes of Tifnubu, it is legal for MC Olueran and co. to continue to make millions from you, from the people, unaccounted for, as long as they are loyal to the people who gave them that political backing. Who is that person? Tifnubu. Is that not the legacy? When they shoot and kill themselves in Lagos State, they bury the case. They own the courts. Abi? Now, what is the difference between that and Bokuwari and the people who are also offering amnesty to terrorists? For those who are giving money to bandits, for those who are telling you that bandits deserve this and that, is what MC Olueran and so many other Talo Skibo, tablets, I want to remember some few names, even in Ibadan, and many of them who are working, taxing you every day under the protection of the politicians, because they are useful to them every election to stop you from challenging them or changing them, right? So what is the difference between Bokuwari and those who are paying bandits and those of your politicians who are paying terrorists, local terrorists in Yoruba land? So what I'm saying here is that their decisions, their selfishness, their greed, and every other thing they have been managing to get away with for so long, they are just like kicking the can down the road. You will always meet it ahead. There will be consequences.
See them talk say, make we off mind, but thank God say, Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you ladder, oh, yo yo, Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo.
Maiyegun don't come.